Hello, friends, and welcome to Binge O'Clock, the podcast where we watch something and then we talk about it. I'm Joy Selden, and I've seen almost everything.
I'm Danielle, and I've seen almost nothing.
Hi, I'm Jill Friedman, and where am I?
Who are you people? You're in the Kelvin universe, Jill.
What am I doing? Oh, God.
Why is it suddenly being recorded?
What is this microphone? Who are you people?
I didn't sign a waiver.
Zoom call.
I didn't sign an NDA. You've broken out of your test tube from the secret lab in the...
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Prehistoric lizard monster, not monster.
I promise I only have 5 fingers on each hand.
Yes.
And then you blink your ulterior eyes.
I mean, listen, the Princess Bride taught me never to trust someone with 6 fingers.
This is very true. These are good life lessons taught to us by 80s movies. Maybe that's a podcast episode we should do. What did I learn from 80s films?
Oh, only terrible things.
Only terrible, awful
like
things.
all of the isms. and like,
how to regret life decisions when you become an adult. Oops.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about all of that. We're here to talk about
not yet.
Gravity Falls.
We'll plan that out later. No, yes, we're here to talk about Gravity Falls. We have sunk our teeth into season 2, first 3 episodes. First off, just a little bit of housekeeping. Danielle, how you feeling? You okay?
Feeling fine, feeling good. Got
Okay,
a fun
good.
voice. I literally screamed into the microphone earlier and still didn't blow it out. So this is just going to be like a really fun podcast episode. I also have to say that my woohoo sounded really unenthusiastic, but that's because if I say woohoo at my usual octave, it will simply disappear into the void. So there it is. That's what you get.
Yeah, no, Danielle has that perfect, like, peak cold husky voice, and I'm just like, and she's like, I don't know if we can record it. I was like, no, we're doing it. It's great.
We're doing it.
Have to record it for prosperity. But anyway, yes, so this was Scarioke. Oh, no, wait. I'm doing it. I'm doing it wrong.
Scarioke?
Well, it's not called Scarioke. It's Tourist Trap. Is it?
Yeah.
What TV says karaoke?
Lies.
Yeah, season 2, episode 1 is karaoke. Season 1, episode 1 is Tourist Trapped.
Of course it is. I knew that. I knew that indeed. For some reason, Google doesn't want to show me season 2. They're like, how dare you?
Yeah. What a jerk.
But yes, Scarioke, Into the Bunker, and the Gulf War, which 1010, the names of these episodes, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect, no notes. Also, Jill, there is an episode 0 for season 2, but that is not.
Oh, really?
That is. I'd
like to state for the record that I am doing the rock eyebrow at this.
Am I supposed to watch that? What's that?
No, I have a feeling they. I have a feeling they placed it in a timeline. Once you look this up, Jill, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. I have a
Where
feeling.
are you seeing this? This is on IMDb?
You literally, if you Google like Gravity Falls season 2 episodes, they give you. I can't say it because banjo polish, but they literally give you one of the part 4 things as an episode 0, and that is incorrect.
Do not Google this.
I will not. I'm not doing
that
anything.
Is a very weird choice.
Yeah. I'm very tempted to like write to Google and be like, how dare you? Because this is obviously the most important thing that Google should be doing right now is fixing the listing of Gravity Falls episodes.
I'm gonna read it aloud with bits redacted that are not relevant to understanding the problem with it, but will explain why it's a problem.
Okay.
The Pine family, that's the first problem, make their greatest sacrifice yet and arrive at their ultimate fate following a final showdown with Redacted. Mm-hmm. So season 2, episode 0, according to Google, for some dumb reason, is the series finale.
Is literally like the part 4 of the season finale. Also,
yeah,
like
the season
it's not
finale
even
was a 4-parter, and it's part 4.
This is like if in the middle of Centaur World, like in the middle of that last hour and a half episode of the last season, it was just like, so we're just going to put the very tail end of that at the beginning of season 2 and you will be completely confused. Like it does not compute for me. But anyway.
I also love how incorrect the air date is because it says the air date is March 24th, 2016. Excuse me. It was February either 15th or 18th. I cannot recall. But it was definitely mid-February 2016.
Yeah. The episode before that is February 15th. So good job, you. I feel like we should give you prizes when you nail stuff like that because it's just like, wait, what? What? How did you just nail a date?
I just get Scooby snacks just for being a big old nerd.
Always. The day that I don't give out Scooby snacks for people being nerds is the day that body snatchers and someone should put me out of my misery.
Right, exactly. Like, that's when we know that that's not joy, that's a shapeshifter.
Yes, exactly. That's my shapeshifter moment.
There we go.
So, karaoke, let's start there because, man, do I love karaoke so much.
I love that we get a zombie episode, like a real zombie episode.
In like 22 minutes.
It's so
with Nick
good.
Offerman even.
With Nick Offerman. Agent Powers.
It's such a good Born without the capacity for humor.
Yes.
Yeah. Something.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. And his partner who just takes things and just repeats like the last word he ever said.
Mm-hmm. Oh God.
I love that, after the whole Gideon thing, we basically just jump right back into it. And of course, first things first, back to our old song and dance of Grunkle Stan not, acknowledging that anything exists. Dipper just really being like, okay, the summer's half over. I have to find something because then we're going to go back to our lives and we won't be in this weird town and I won't be able to prove anything because he's that level of Mulder.
Yeah.
Which is also a joke that Danielle doesn't get. Probably.
Nope. I don't know which of the people in X-Files is Mulder. Like, to be clear.
The guy. It's the guy. David Duchovny.
It's David Duchovny. It's the other lead. There are two leads in X-Files.
There's two. You got a 50-50 shot at it.
I'm at like level
no, but my favorite. So my favorite part about that is Mulder and Scully could literally be a man or a dude or a lady or whatever. It doesn't.
I mean, that's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And people would have shipped Mulder and Scully anyway, regardless.
Yes. People have been shipping as a shipper of Mulder and Scully from the very first episode I watched. Correct. It does not matter.
I just found them both so profoundly attractive.
Bisexual panic.
Yes. So
the bisexual panic in that show is strong.
So it's like the Gen Z or the younger millennial divide is younger millennials became bisexual because of Scooby-Doo and elder millennials became bisexuals because of The Mummy. But then your geriatric millennials, your Zennials and such.
And Gen X. It was the X-Files.
The X-Files.
If it took you to the X-Files to figure out if you were bisexual as a Gen Xer, I mean, that's your journey. No shade. But I have questions.
I feel like that's a valid journey for several folks who might have I promise we'll get back to Gravity Falls, but as a person who genuinely knew she was bisexual from like toddler, it was not hard for me to figure out. I also was so bisexual so early on. I was one of those kids that was like, well, everyone's bisexual, right? That's the norm. I didn't even understand what straight was. I was like, right, you say you're straight, but like you don't mean straight, right? Like you mean that just 70-30, right?
The wrong person has, like, the person to turn your head hasn't shown up.
Right, exactly. So like as someone who basically since very young child age, I feel like I have no horse in this race, but I've also talked to people who are like, oh no, teenager was when I figured that out, or, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, no, valid. That's fair. I just imagine a bunch of Gen Xers being like, X-Files shows up and they're just like, you have David Duchovny who already has his
Adult
softcore
film bona
porn,
fides.
his softcore porn following, because he had that. And then you have Gillian Anderson, who literally has only done theater, and nobody knows who she is, but she's adorable. And baby.
The adorable to mommy arc for Gillian Anderson. I live, honestly.
Gives us life. Anyway,
Yeah.
Gravity Falls. We'll see if that
Gravity
makes it in
Falls.
the final cut.
Why
People come here
not?
to talk about Gravity Falls and start talking about X-Files. I will maintain that X-Files, if like X-Files walked so that
related.
Gravity Falls could run. Like,
Absolutely.
but yeah, no, I love a good zombie episode, and this was a really solid zombie episode. Like, you even had the, you know, like the kid, right down to the kid talking about like crazy stuff happens and no one believes him.
Yep.
And like, please, I ask you one thing, not to raise the dead. And what do? You raise the dead.
And I love all like the fun little zombie tropes that are just kind of sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that all Mabel wants to do is do karaoke.
Karaoke.
I mean, honestly, like, I am Mabel in that. Like, I'm just like, can we just do karaoke, guys?
We just carry Love Patrol Alpha, the family band. How can you not get them together?
I love that the two of them are like, I didn't agree to that.
Yeah. So the notes I have for this episode, first off, we start with, we see what's in the basement.
Yeah. Which is
We start with the biggest mystery. The biggest mystery that was not answered at the end of season 1.
No.
Danielle, I'm curious to hear your reaction to that.
I mean, I feel like I'm still waiting to really see what that is.
Fair.
Right? Because it's like scanning.
Valid.
We don't know what it's scanning for unless I completely missed something, but we still don't really know. My favorite part about the beginning of this is Grunkle Stan is like, no one's ever going to figure this out. And it's literally a giant bright light that you can see from anywhere in town.
Look, that's always my favorite joke of like, we totally did it, not detected at all. And then, you know, it's like,
just trail of
and then
carnage.
alarms are going off.
Yes, exactly. So I feel like I'm beginning to see the mystery, but I'm still waiting for the other shoe to fall.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah. I'm
here for it so far.
I like that you're just kind of like, oh, that's weird. Can't wait to find out what that is.
I know, that's genuinely my reaction to most things, which is terrible, I suppose.
It's just,
I'm like,
no, it's very on brand.
Hey guys, what's going on in this thread?
What's happening?
Hey, what do we think that is? Should we put Lord Mystery Ham on the case? I mean,
I need a supercut of all the waddles.
All the waddles. I mean, first of all,
there has to be at least 2 people on YouTube must have done a waddles supercut. Like, that has to exist.
So little random, but also slightly Waddles related. I do enjoy that the opening shot of this episode is Mabel sleeping. And the way that Mabel sleeps is with Waddles on her lap and her grappling hook in her hands. It's very on brand. And I have to say, like, I liked these 3 episodes. Narratively, obviously, there are important things happening here. But Mabel had some of my favorite moments in all 3 of them. All 3 of them.
Yeah. I love karaoke because it is everything you loved about Double Dipper, but like with a new twist. Mm-hmm. Because it's exactly the same setup.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's the party. It's everybody in town coming to the party, and then something happening.
This is often why I mistake karaoke with that episode. A lot of times they're
totally
not
understandable.
Yeah, a lot of times they are in fact the same episode in my brain, and I can't divide
That's fair.
them.
That's entirely fair. I wrote in my notes, Dipper never learned ACAB.
I gotta say, I found Dipper deeply frustrating for very different reasons, but in both this episode and the next one. like, I think part of the reason I love Mabel so much in these 2 episodes is because I love Mabel, but also because I was like, I've had enough of Dipper. There's no part of me that understands why you would see these 2 agents and immediately start spilling everything that you've discovered about the woods and this journal. And I have this thing and we're going to work together. I'm like, these are government agents, dude. That's not the way this works.
Yeah, like Dipper.
With you.
Dipper, like, canonically, like, I can't remember where in all the places it's been mentioned and if it's been mentioned already, but it is also implied that Dipper is like one of those kids that's just like on every supernatural Reddit, like every subreddit about government conspiracies and science fiction and like cryptids and all of that kind of thing. So you really think that along that path, someone would have been like, hey, the Men in Black, don't talk to them.
No, never talk to the Men in Black, right? They're just there to take everything you've learned and memory wipe you, right?
Don't
like,
let the cats out or the cops in. Like, come on.
Yeah, I like to think, though, some of that is just the innocence of childhood and, like, just trusting people in authority. I mean, I do love that the one time Grunkle Stan is like, please don't talk to the authorities, with giving very valid reasons as to why don't talk to the authorities. He obviously has ulterior motives, and Dipper knows he does. So Dipper is just like, I'm not going to believe you because you're already a grifter. You know, it feels very like, oh, you're 12. Of course you're going to trust the police.
I guess.
Yeah, McGriff the crime dog spoke at his middle school graduation.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Considering Hirsch's age and how close in age all of us are.
You're right.
He's like an 84 or 85 baby. Like, he definitely had like the dare and the McGruff crime dog.
He had a sticker.
Yeah, I guess I can't really be mad at him for letting the propaganda just seep into his brain. He is a child.
I mean, I will also point out, when we started this podcast, Danielle and I had to have a conversation about how much propaganda we were going to include, because the problem is so much media that I consumed and loved as a child was literally just propaganda.
Oops, all cops.
With shading over it. Maybe with some supernatural spice, you know.
I can't remember if I actually watched it or if I watched it so long ago in like season 1 of the pandemic that I don't remember what's in it. But skip intro literally has a video is Buffy the Vampire Slayer propaganda.
Wait, what video?
No, I think a YouTuber, YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Has a great, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list. I promise. But yeah, no, you said that and I was like, it probably is. Knowing all the shows I loved when I was a teen. Absolutely. Like, there's a show that I loved called Forever Night, which is literally a vampire cop. Like,
that is definitely propaganda.
Like, you know, and we had to have this conversation because I was like, look, a lot of the shows I loved were very well written propaganda, and we have to talk about this. Like, I also wanted to do Person of Interest, and I'm sitting here like, oh my God, that is also propaganda. What am I?
There are so many elements of Person of Interest I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole on the internet that can connect me to my name.
And I hate it because it's one of my favorite shows. Anyway, I'm not bitter.
Let's talk about those karaoke songs that Mabel is so excited to sing, and I wrote them down because they were funny.
Yes, I'm so glad you did, because the only thing I wrote down was Ampered Sandra because it was my favorite thing.
Because it's great. Yeah, we built this township on rock and roll. Danger Lane to Highway Town.
Danger Lane to Highway Town.
And then Taking Over Midnight, all caps, but it's T8K. Taking Over Midnight by Amber Sandra.
Amber Sandra.
It's so
Amber
good.
Sandra, I think, was my favorite.
Like, I remember the first time I saw that and she said Amber Sandra, I was like, this is some like BoJack Horseman level stuff of like funny name for thing.
Yeah. Oh.
Ampersandra, which I assume is meant to be Kesha. Yes?
Yes.
I mean, must be.
Must
Because
be.
it sort of has the song itself has the same vibe as like a Kids Bop TikTok.
Yeah. 1000%.
And I have to, because given the company, I have to point out the first off, the fan vid that someone made that is all Star Trek original series set to TikTok by Kesha.
Oh my gosh.
An amazing fan vid. It's like when you're introducing people to the concept of fan vids and you send them one.
Yeah.
Like it's on my list of things to send people where I'm like, this is a thing you would enjoy.
Baby's first fan vid. Yeah.
Right. It's like that. It's like Starships by Nicki Minaj.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think I
like-
have a Doctor Who one that's Starships. Is
Yes.
it Doctor Who? Oh, no. I think it's
Well,
Doctor Who.
the Doctor Who is in this one, is in the one I'm talking about. It's a Pan Fandom one. And like, it's just so full of joy.
It's
just so
entirely
full of
it's
joy.
entirely possible it's the same one I'm thinking of for my 30th birthday party. I think it was my 30th birthday party. I actually asked a friend of mine either 30th or 33rd because hobbits. I asked a friend of mine to find a bunch of fan vids that I could literally just play in the background and just make me a playlist of things.
That's awesome. I love
And Starships was in there, yeah. And then actually for my birthday, he like gave me a hard drive with all of them on it, which was pretty great.
That's delightful.
That's
Yeah.
a great present.
I know. It was perfect specifically for me. Like, what a me present. Thank you.
But the button to the Kesha story is that someone tweeted at her saying, "Hey Kesha, have you seen this?" And she was like, "Who found out that TikTok was about Star Trek?" And she like quote tweeted the video. Like it was. Mwah.
Who connected the dots? I love that.
I love that Kesha is yes and none of us realized it until like far too deep into Kesha's fandom. Like you had like it was something you had to unlock.
Well, I just remember, just to go on a quick Kesha zag. I just remember when like loving Blow and thinking like it was like just like the most fun song to roller skate to, because this was during my like roller skating time.
Yeah.
And just loving it and feeling like there was a weird menace to it that I couldn't quite place. And it reminded me weirdly of the song Dilaudid by the Mountain Goats. And I was like, this does not make sense. There is no reason. This is I don't know where I'm coming from with this, but this is like the vibe. And then she came out with the deconstructed version.
Oh.
And the deconstructed version of Blow has the same energy as Dilaudid. And I was like, I knew it.
There it is.
Jill, I feel like you need to start your own podcast and relate everything to mountain goats.
I mean,
The podcast
Josephine
is
beat me
just
to it.
called like Mountain Goats All the Way Down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mountain goats
Josephine
all the
kind
way
of
up.
beat me.
More goats.
More goats. Josephine kind of beat me to it with the I only listen to the Mountain Goats podcast.
Ah, dang.
But like that podcast was like him. The first season was him and John Darnielle talking about one of the album All Hail West Texas, and then each episode a different artist would cover the next track on the track list from the album. Erin McEwen did an amazing one. Eliza, I just forgot her last name. Anyway, it's a lot of great ones. Amanda Palmer has one that I like grudgingly like because she has the energy of the song correct, but like the story behind it kind of terrible. Like because basically what happened was she didn't send in her work for a very long time.
Lol.
And they had to like, it was like pulling teeth, basically.
Oh, no.
Of all the
of the
artists, I feel like I'm not surprised that was Amanda.
Yeah,
Palmer.
like 0% surprised. I love the line that when Dipper's trying to get the journal back, or he's gotten the journal back from Grunkle Stan, and Mabel's like, "You're not going to bring that to the party, right?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I'm not going to raise the dead."
Not gonna raise the dead.
I'm not going to raise the dead.
There's so many good moments in this episode.
I love that he says it like Mabel is killing his fun.
I'm going to raise the dead. Dipper, what was the one thing I asked you not to do?
Raise the dead.
And what did you do?
Raise the dead. And then her scream of like, oh no, you actually did raise the dead then.
Yeah. Can we discuss zombie Seuss?
I know.
Dude, can I eat your brains? I just want a little nibble.
I just really want that brain.
I just want that brain, guys.
What is it when he's like working with the other zombies?
I'm kind of like their king.
Next to these guys, I'm so smart, right? Like whatever that line is, I love that so much. It's like against these guys, I'm a genius.
I love Zombie Seuss so much. I love when he plops down in front of the TV. I love at the end when he's trying to get to them and he's stymied by literally a couch in front of him. It's all good. It is all perfect.
I just love that he's like all of the other zombies, like they look like zombies. But Seuss just looks like Seuss.
Yes.
Just like a little grayer.
Seuss with a little gray and like his eyes, I think, go completely white. And that's
his eyes go white.
And he's obviously just all about them brains.
Yeah. One of my notes is the disco ball and the zombie, because when they like shove the disco ball up into like the zombie's like torso, I was like, it's giving serious Don Bluth / Hexus in Fern Gully vibes.
Yes.
I love
the disco zombie. I like the disco zombie. I also like that one of the zombies was randomly wearing a party hat. I don't know if either of you noticed that.
I didn't. I'll tell you why I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Because that is a thing that happens in Plants vs. Zombies, which I have played, far too much of. So like in my like mental like filing cabinet of zombies. Mm-hmm. Don't you have one? I thought everyone did. There's always a zombie with like a party hat on.
Yeah, zombie with a party hat.
Also, yes, I have played far too much Plants vs. Zombies, but this is probably a perfect opportunity to talk about my reoccurring zombie dream.
Oh.
Which, when I can't remember the first time I had this dream, but I must have been like probably a young teenager. We were having a Halloween party at my mom's house, and my best friend loves to hear me talk about this story because they're just like, wait, what did you just say? We order a pizza or something, and like the doorbell rings, and I open it, and it's zombies.
Oh.
But in the dream, like, I don't recognize them as zombies. It's like an after the fact kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, they don't have my pizza. I'm like, oh, sorry, it's trick-or-treaters. We're out of candy. And I close the door. I go back to the party. The doorbell rings again. There's nobody there. I come back to the party. Suddenly everyone's a zombie.
Oh, no.
And then
like
I wake
in a scary way or a fun way?
It used to be scary, but because it's recurring, these days I'm just like, hey, fellas, come on in.
What an interesting recurring dream.
I don't know where this came from. I don't know if it's like I watched too much Are You Afraid of the Dark as a kid. Like, this feels like an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode.
It does a bit, yeah. Or like the beginning of a pizza commercial somehow. I don't know what it is.
That's 100% the Domino's Halloween.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
The Domino's Halloween ad.
You open it, it's all zombie, and then it's all
you drop the pizza, and then they take the pizza in.
Zombie party. Yeah, I can see it. All right, folks, you heard it first.
Who got brains on their pizza?
Who got brains? Who ordered extra brains?
Who got brains?
Who got pepperoni brains? Pepperonis don't have brains. Says you.
With the side, it's also got some like amygdala pepperoni cheese on it,
garlic intestines.
Exactly. Oh, all right. Now I'm grossing myself out.
You're welcome.
Now I'm thinking of the zombies from that movie we saw where they actually are eating like cow parts.
I know. They really commit to the bit. Oh my god. These extras just going ham on someone's poor ham.
Yep.
So, episode 2, because we'll never get through this episode if we don't.
You're right. The one final fun button on episode 1 is that we get our Mars attack ending, and then we get to move on.
We are neglecting a very important part of Scarioki.
The confetti cannon. I have no idea. What is it?
Hunkle Stan has entered the chat.
Oh,
I know, yeah. I was going to save that as my one more thing if we didn't talk about it.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, Grunkle Stan showing up and basically Evil Deading his way through all the zombies is pretty great. But ultimately nothing is solved because he's like, hey, I didn't tell you about this because otherwise you might die. So maybe don't. And Dipper's like, but you're keeping secrets from us. Sure, I won't. Wink. Okay, great. Then I won't, I won't keep anything else from you. Wink. And I'm like, and
Wink.
and the goalpost didn't move.
Nope. No, they did not.
They just moved from an equal distance away.
Yes, very true. We also got the agents in the credit sequence saying, this is the town we were searching for. Which again, I'm like gently collecting the bits of the mystery and waiting for it all to come together. So that was a nice
You're not Charlie in front of the board yet, but you're getting there.
I'm getting there. Okay, now we can do episode 2.
You're building your case.
Into the bunker.
Yeah.
Into the bunker.
Which begins
Nearly
with more
almost
zombies.
dead, but not quite.
Yes.
So I looked at the wiki, and the production credit of Nearly Almost Dead, but Not Quite is listed as a good enough picture, MXMLMLMXMML.
What?
Reading it using Roman numerals notation, this gives the year 1000 plus 990 plus 950 plus 950 plus 990 plus 50, which equals 4930, which does not make sense.
Okay.
Reading it alternately as something else, it gives the year as 5170, which also does not make sense.
All right.
Wait, and this is
the movie that Dipper and Wendy are watching at the beginning.
Yeah.
Nearly Almost Dead, but Not Quite. You see the title card, and it has the a good enough picture, and then the copy, the trademark date on it, but it's gibberish.
4950,
like nonsense date.
Yeah,
I love that.
MXMLMLMXML. That's not a thing.
What if it's the Time Cops movie and he dropped it somewhere? A bad movie from the future.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We have time travel in this show.
You know what?
You'll never take this headcanon from me.
You know what? You make a very good point, Joe.
Headcanon accepted.
Sold.
We'll see.
Sold.
We'll see if it pans out. Spoilers. I don't actually remember if we ever find out. I'm pretty sure we don't. But Into the Bunker literally picks right up with Dipper being like, "Yep, let's keep looking for mysteries."
Yeah, which listen, okay, I'm going to start with this so that we don't end on a negative note. I'm the Dipper Wendy thing. First of all, this episode went hard into that in a way that I didn't really appreciate. And so I breathed an immense sigh of relief upon discovering that finally, hopefully, maybe, we're done. This is over, and we can simply move on with our lives.
I believe mostly yes.
I'm
as
done.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
There's a couple of things that happen later on that sort of reference it. Mm-hmm. It's definitely understood by the narrative as a thing that Dipper wants and will always want and whatever. But in terms of the audience having to sit through another episode of a 12-year-old boy in love with a 15-year-old girl, this kind of is the end of it because everything's out in the open.
Yeah.
It gets hashed out.
She has given him the friendly rejection.
Yes.
And been that's I would just like to be friends.
I was pretty happy, I think, with that conversation and with the way it and with the way that ended. I listen, I didn't love the very, very foreseeable moment where he's talking to, spoilers, the shapeshifter, lying in the puddle, and he's like, I never told you I loved you. I was like, it's obviously a shapeshifter. She's obviously standing behind you. And then it happened, and it was very dramatic, and I was like, okay. A little tiny part of me wanted it to be a little bit sillier than that. I thought that when Mabel found the note, that was sort of the direction that the episode was going to run in.
Yeah, then we were going to try and play keep away with the note or something.
Yeah, and it would be, I don't know if I would have even liked that much better. But I also think that the other thing that sort of put me off of it was the fact that the episode literally opened on their movie night and him just pining over her or continuing to, and then like falling back on her bed and her bra's there and he panics. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, now you understand where I was just like, oh, right, I forgot how long this goes on for. Like, we are done with season 1 and we are still talking about this. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, and oh, sorry, continue.
Well, I appreciate that she lets him down as gently as possible. And we do get a little bit of funny, like, I hear the things you mumble under your breath, Dipper.
Yes. That was pretty good.
I think the thing that really rescues the entire thing is that Dipper takes the rejection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he after that point, he's like, my feelings for you are not your problem. Mm-hmm. Like he still has them. He still struggles with it. And it still crops up in a couple of different moments in the show. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like, he doesn't impress her, trying to ingratiate her, right? Like he's no longer trying for, and he really is just like,
yes,
and he's like, I choose friend.
And she is a really cool friend. Like, not for nothing. Like, that's the thing with this episode. Like, I felt like there were so many great moments in the episode, and I almost wish there were more minutes spent on everything else. Like, I love that Wendy actually gets to be a cool character in this episode. Like, give me that. I love that.
I also really love that she was like, oh, I'm so excited to go on an adventure with you guys. Oh, man, I've been waiting all summer for this. And I'm like, you guys haven't invited Wendy on any of your adventures.
She's a lumberjack.
She's really resourceful.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of that
every step of this mystery.
She does. She really does. I feel like it's a lot more, the answer to that is a lot more Doylist than Watsonian, if that makes sense. Where it's a lot more like, it's not so much that the Pines twins hadn't invited her or to join them. It's more like the writers didn't realize what a hit she was, like, Wendy was going to be, and like what a fan favorite she was going to be. Mm-hmm. And so like, even though the sort of like base concept of the character is like the coolest girl you ever knew, I don't think they anticipated successfully writing that. Because very often when you write the coolest girl you ever know, they're kind of, if you'll pardon the pun, they're kind of a cipher. They're kind of, it's the cool girl monologue from Gone Girl, basically.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they didn't do that they did make Wendy into this like very fully realized cool person.
Yeah.
I think surprised them as much as anybody else.
Interesting. What? You know what I'm going to say? The only reason I had in the back of my head, like from episode 1, that this character was going to become more fully realized was because of the voice casting. I was like, because I cannot remember her name right now. I feel terrible.
Linda Cardinelli?
Yes. Cardellini? But you don't cast her as your voice actor and just plan not to use her. Like, that's simply not going to happen.
Well, I do think there's also that line of like, you can have as good a friendship as you want with someone who's, between a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old, but ultimately the 15-year-old's also going to have her other friends to hang out with.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so like, we did get a lot of like Dipper hanging with them. And like, I do think it didn't even occur to him to ask Wendy to come with him because he was probably like, oh, you're probably not interested, in that way of just like also not wanting to feel embarrassed. And like, I honestly like having Wendy on some of these hunts when he was goo goo gaga over her would have literally made me hate him more.
Yeah, fair.
It would have done nothing for making me like Dipper. 0. In fact, it might have had the opposite effect.
Oh man. But like speaking of monster hunts, this is a cool episode. I love every step of getting it into the bunker. I love that.
Me too.
It's like escape room after escape room after escape room, and every single one is a different puzzle they solve together. I think there's some really cool visuals, like when the walls are closing in that one room and they have to like jump and hit all the buttons.
So I'm pretty sure that's a reference to the movie Cube.
Oh,
because my partner showed me the movie Cube after I had seen Gravity Falls, and there's a scene where they go into a room that's basically that room, and I was like, it's the thing.
But even like the trees sinking into the ground and the steps going like click 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 like out from the edges of the, like, that was all cool.
Yeah, no, the production design, like they went in.
Yeah.
No, like 10-10. I don't even like escape rooms, and I'd probably go with a bunch of people to do that. It's one of those things where, and then you bring your friend along on the thing, and she ends up being really super good at solving mysteries, actually.
They would not have gotten past one single room without Wendy. Like, I'm convinced. Not one single room. They would have been like,
They wouldn't have gotten into the tree.
No, they wouldn't have gotten into the tree. They'd been like, I wonder what to do with this. Maybe I poke and prod. Maybe I drill it. Oh no. And then they would have moved on to the next mystery. Like, full end of story.
Something a little easier. Let's go find a gnome. But I love that they were like, what the author is still here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. What did you, what part of your brain went, obviously this author has been living in this bunker for blah, 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 blah. Like, it was very 12-year-old thinking was all I could think.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're going to find the author sitting there. What? No.
Just waiting for us.
So there, we do see a calendar that is at 1982 and just stops at 1982. The first box you see that's dated is 1985, which I hadn't noticed before, which was kind of weird. But then when you see like all the other boxes, you're like, oh, he just has a box for every 5 years of food or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's a horrifying sentence. But like,
sure is.
But like, in terms of potentially, like, there could have been someone still there.
Yeah.
If that person was still, like, if that person had been in there the whole time, they would have just been there the whole time.
Yeah. No, right. I think it's that you didn't instantly stumble upon them and you thought you might find them in the cave, that I went, no. Either you instantly stumble upon them or my dude has left the building.
Yeah. Anything you find in here is going to be a problem.
And left a very scary shapeshifter behind. Speaking of, we got some pretty fantastic body horror in this episode. Like body
pretty
horror,
gross.
but definitely still some body horror.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No,
like when he does like the sideways eyes, like blink, and his head turns around. And then when he becomes like the Mabel Dipper thing,
hot
like
dog, whatever.
That was fantastic.
Is the most grossed out I've ever been by a cartoon, I think. Because I thought about it just a little too hard. And I was like, oh no, I don't like any of this.
Like the way their mouths are open and one of them is upside down and they meld into each other and that's their body. It's like,
Nothing I
don't like it.
Nothing I wanted. And to your point, Danielle, they would not have overtaken the monster had the monster not become Wendy. And had very obviously, like, shown a hand of, like, but, you know, the Dipper, I like you.
Well, they also wouldn't have identified it as the monster in the first place because she's the one who picked up the can and was like, wait a minute, that looks just like Baron Num Num.
I forgot about
you
that.
know? Like, literally every single step of this process. Meanwhile, there's Mabel, just, like, face covered in caterpillars, which was gross in a very different way.
I know.
That horrified me because I know that there are caterpillars where, like, if they touch you, that's just pain.
Oh, yeah.
This is like a butterfly. What is it? A butterfly or a moth problem?
Yes.
Butterfly as big as your face, Danielle.
Butterflies.
Butterflies.
No one expects the butterfly.
Killer
Butterflies of death.
Murder butterflies. Oh,
Murder
no, it's the murder butterflies.
The murder butterflies have followed us from Fringe.
They're just like the pituitary.
They're here and they're ready.
Oh, no. That six-finger nerd hasn't been himself in 30 years.
Yeah, we do get some good, like, little hints in this episode, too. Like, obviously, with the entire secret lab and this and that and the fact that they're experiments. Although I think, you know, those pieces all made sense and were basically already in place.
Yeah.
Like, little things like, I don't know, the laptop that says property of F on it. Cool little, all right, we're picking up the clues. We're seeing where the breadcrumb trail leads.
Yeah.
I like I forgot. I like the way the creature goes out, actually. Like the one last warning it gives Dipper and then is like, you'll die. It basically tells him that if he keeps digging, his final moments will be like this. And then he freezes in like this awful stance, followed immediately by Seuss just saying, good luck sleeping tonight, dude.
Right. And then like Dipper's just reflection in the glass, like...
Yeah. It's, you know
so
what it is?
good.
It gives real, you know how you have like an RPG with a bunch of friends and then one friend comes in to like guest and makes their own character and then like just breaks the RPG and you're just like, you should come here all the time. That's what it feels. That's what Wendy feels like. Wendy feels like a friend who's always talking about joining you for the RPG night and then finally doesn't. And you're like, oh, dang.
Like this was
Please
supposed
do this
to be
all the time?
All the time. Like this was supposed to be a 3-session adventure. You've kicked down all the doors. We did it in 1 hour. And also you dealt major psychic damage to one of the main characters.
Yeah. Good job.
Well done.
We like it. We appreciate this. I'm trying to think of what other little tidbits there were. I mean, I love the duo of Seuss and Mabel, which again is like, obviously, you were never getting out of there with Seuss and Mabel trying to figure out how to free.
No. But, you know, they have their moments. Seuss, like we said, steals the laptop, and Mabel hits the button that freezes the thing in the cryo chamber. You know?
Yes.
Like,
They have their moments at the tail end through trial and error.
Pure luck. Absolutely pure luck.
Are there more pieces to this one?
I'm just looking through the thing.
Not too much, I don't think. Like, I'm looking through my notes and there are some other fun moments, but I think those are the big narrative
I also
pieces.
kind of wonder what voice, like why the monster chose that voice for that soup can person.
Because if you could be voiced by Mark Hamill, wouldn't you?
I mean, of course. But is that another clue?
I don't know. I'm not going to check
he's
IMDb
never
to see
heard
if
the
Mark
soup
Hamill
can
voices
talk.
anyone else.
He's never heard the soup can talk.
Baron Num Num. Do we move into episode 3 to Golf War?
Once there was one there was one thing that I wanted to point out. Now I'm trying to remember where it was. It's revealed that a security camera in the bunker is connected to a TV in the shack basement, and Stan very nearly sees the twins, Suze and Wendy, down there.
Yes, but he's distracted by his machine.
Oh, an old storyboard of the decontamination scene would have ended in things being more awkward between Dipper and Wendy. That clearly just means just like they would have had their clothes off. And no, thank you, please.
No. I'm very happy.
It was fine the way it was.
Yep, very happy that ended up on the proverbial cutting room floor.
So we got what we needed.
Yep.
I mean, again,
Yep.
I think it was in the very first episode of this podcast or something where I was like, oh no, I forgot. Because this is finally the episode where I get to like breathe a sigh of relief and just appreciate Dipper for who he is and not sit here and cringe the whole time.
I did have the note. I did write down the note during the fight between Wendy and the shapeshifter. I'm going to wait until you're finished drinking your beer. I have the weirdest boner right now.
Little community.
Just a little bit.
Little community.
I mean,
Just the tip.
Just a tip. But like, also, I mean, Alex Hirsch is in that whole like Justin Roiland, Dan Harmon amoeba. So like, I'm sure at some point someone actually on Community has said that about this specific moment, that specific moment on Gravity Falls.
Oh, I know.
Three-headed Gorgon.
I would absolutely believe it.
For sure.
Also, I loved Mabel going, I'm working on a list of replacement crushes.
Rebounds crushes. Yeah, so good. She's such a supportive sister.
She is, but also, can we not?
In her own way. I mean, that's so Mabel, though. She's like, why would you have a crush on just one person when you can have a crush on literally every human you meet? Like, that's
yeah, no,
fun.
it's giving Tina Louise energy.
A little bit.
Where Louise gets her first crush and then just stares at Tina like, how do you have a new crush on people every day?
Beautiful, awful face.
Tina is just like, I mean, I put my bra on one boob at a time, girl.
Just like anybody else.
Just like anybody else. God bless Tina Belcher.
Gosh.
I feel like that's actually a really nice segue into the Gulf War, because one of my favorite things about the Gulf War, first of all, just the episode itself, like fantastic little story.
Right? Like 10-10, hardly any notes.
No notes, literally none. But I also love how supportive we get, like the family is in this episode specifically. Like, we don't usually get to see Grunkles. Like, we do get to see Dipper and Mabel being on each other's sides. And we've talked about that before, right? But we, like, the moment where, like, Dipper is literally, like, feeding her nachos because she's too sad to, like, lift them to her mouth by herself. Or even, like, Grunkle Stan is kind of sweet to her when he gives her that little, like, you the best sticker, you know? It's just cute. It's a cute family episode. Also war.
And I also really love, my favorite part about that is it all culminates in Grunkle Stan saying something like, you mean we have to break into the mini golf place after dark? I'm in! And they'll like
exactly.
pile into the car and run over to the mini golf spot. I love the dynamic of Pacifica versus Mabel and Dipper, and just this obviously like not necessarily low income, but middle to low income family looking at too rich. And,
very,
Dipper, of course,
rich.
clocking it first. But, Mabel, like, ultimately wanting to be the optimist and seeing good in everyone. And I love it so much. I love it just like, yeah, of course we're doing this. It might be the only time someone takes her down a peg. Like, obviously we're doing this.
And they poke and sort of prod at that character in so many different little ways. Although my favorite moment is the one like towards the end of the episode where, not the end of the episode, I guess sort of like as we're going into act 3 of the episode, where Dipper comes up with this scheme where why don't we award the sticker to the group of golf ball people? I don't really know how else to refer to them.
Lilliputians.
Well, the Lilliputians, I thought, well, maybe I was wrong. I was trying to figure it out because in my head, I thought the Lilliputians were only
the Dutch ones?
The Dutch-looking ones.
Oh.
Because they're the ones who, like, sort of Gulliver's Travel style, like, tie Pacifica to the grounds. Like, I thought they were the Lilliputians and everyone else had a different name.
Does the Wikipedia tell you? Does the wiki?
That's what I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too scared to go on Wiki for this show, so I'm going to let you two do all of that. But while you're looking that up, Jill,
the Lilliputians does mean all of the different golf ball people.
Oh, okay. All right. So then they each
have their own faction, but they all have...
They're all Lilliputians.
They are all the Lilliputians.
Okay, cool. I like that. But my favorite little dig is when they get the Lilliputians to help them cheat, right? And Mabel's like, wait a minute, Dipper, isn't that cheating? And Dipper's like, Pacifica's rich. She cheats
She's cheating at life.
She cheats in life, yes.
Born.
Pacifica's rich. She's cheating at life. And Mabel's like, well, can't really argue with that. Which is why she ultimately agrees to this game.
And I I like that the Lilliputians are almost like an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, no, like in an interesting way, they're like the B plot of this episode.
Yeah, like they're important, but they're not like, I don't know, like they're not the stars of the show, which is amazing. No. Like when the gnome showed up, they took over pretty quickly. Like when all these other like when the shapeshifter we were just talking about took over pretty quickly, outside of, you know, the awkward teen angst, but like they're kind of just there. I don't know how else to describe it. I do like that they just have these wars. And I like Mabel was like, maybe we shouldn't insert ourselves into this conflict. This seems kind of intense. And I was like, yeah, Mabel, you had the right idea.
My note is the quote, "The only way to win is by ending the fighting and working together." And my comment was, "Ow, my current events."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind
maybe
listeners,
don't insert yourself into a thing. Probably
kind listeners, we are recording this on October 30th. So whatever you remember about October 30th, that's what we're talking about.
October 30th, 2023.
Yeah.
This is 100% coming out next year, which hopefully we're all in a better place by then.
But like, I don't even know how to talk about this episode without just like quoting 4 or 5 different things from it. Like, I don't have anything intelligent to say about this episode. I don't have any insights. I just like had a really fun time.
So the things I like about it are Pacifica and her relationship to Mabel and how we actually get to see that adjust.
I want a rematch, you walking one-dimensional bleached blonde Valley Girl stereotype.
God, that was so good.
I like the character arc that Pacifica gets in this episode. I like that we see that her parents don't really care about her. I like that she has a golf pro.
Sergey.
I like Sergey. There's something about Sergey I really like.
I totally forgot that Sergey survived. I thought Sergey just like died, and they just sort of like forgot about him. So when they come back at the end and Sergey's like watching the pageant that the Lilliputians are putting on, I was like, oh, he didn't die. Okay, good.
You know, Sergey lives
forever, watching the pageants over and over again.
I also love Pacifica getting to eat in the Pines car.
Yeah,
you can eat in the car.
Can you eat in the car?
No, I don't take handouts. These aren't handouts. This is sharing.
Sharing.
See what I mean? Like, I could just quote this episode. This is a great episode.
I just think Mabel is really good for Pacifica. And I like that it's not, it's not Lil Gideon. Right?
No.
Like,
I also feel like Pacifica's...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You were in the middle of a sentence and I started talking.
Wait. Well, I like that Pacifica is not some evil mastermind. I mean, that we know of. But, like, obviously just somebody sort of floating through life trying to figure out what her parents expect of her and what, like, her role actually is. And, like, maybe, like, if her parents don't care about her, maybe she doesn't have to care about her parents. You know what I mean? Like, the episode sets up so much with so little information. I don't know. I'm here for Pacifica to have her. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Oh, this is the "Oh, you sweet summer childest" piece of trivia I think I've ever seen.
Ooh, okay.
The episode's name may be a wordplay on the 1990 Gulf War.
Oh, is
you
it
sweet
not?
summer child.
May.
That's what it is. Like I'm like, why? What kind of May?
How could it be anything but?
Like I realize I am a good 15 years older than most of the people who love this show, but like, no, that's exactly what they were referring to when you're talking about.
Yeah, confidently, like, absolutely. They weren't even trying to hide it.
There is later in this season an episode with a title that is so risque. I am to this moment stunned.
Really?
is there.
Okay,
when we get to it, you're going to be like, oh, it's that.
It's that one.
That's
right? The one.
there's no mistaking it.
It'll be like in like episode 2 of this podcast when you said the thing about the show hitting a level of horror that's not kid friendly. And then when we got there, I was like, hey, did y'all clock the teeth and the deer? And you were like, Danielle, that was it. That was the one.
That's it. That's the thing.
Correct.
Oh man. Yeah.
I feel like we're
Return of Xyler and Kraz.
Oh yes, the return of Xyler and Kraz.
The burn unit.
So good. Also, this episode has possibly the most horrific moment in the entire show for me.
Oh, which was?
Big Henry.
Oh, I didn't think it was horrific. I thought it was sad, but
I mean, it is sad, but like,
I hear what you're saying. Like when I heard horrific, my brain went to like Mabel Dipper monster, you know?
No. I'm talking like actual like, oh dang, that got dark.
Yeah, it did. It was I have a little sad face like in my notes next to Big Henry takes one for the team.
Yeah. It's like that's a
ooh, yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that they were basically trying to tell the story of John Henry.
Of John Henry, yeah.
And probably may or may not tell it more accurately than other legends do, unfortunately.
Certainly told with more gravitas than the actual Disney John Henry animated feature.
Yeah. I do like Dipper being like, thanks to all the miners and the miners. I just imagine all the miners being like, the best of us is gone.
I know.
No, that didn't even happen. The other miners were like, yay! And they were like, I don't even know if they knew about Big Henry yet, but whatever it was, I was waiting for you actually don't know what we just did to get you that. Mm-hmm. Like I was waiting for that moment. And I always forget that it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. They just never find out that Big Henry
do not know.
died.
I know.
And that is like that's what I mean by
devastating.
Like, that's awful.
This is one of those things that sort of ties into my, I don't know if you'd call it a trope. It's kind of hard to describe. But like one of my favorite things that happens in like a really good storytelling TV show, usually a TV show, not necessarily a movie. Although I guess it could happen there too. But I like when you're following one particular plot and then you get to see something that maybe the main characters aren't even aware of, that affects the main plot, and that like you get to witness it and you get to understand multiple different storylines at once where the main characters don't always. This happens a lot in like Battlestar Galactica and like a few other shows that are like just ensemble cast and just huge. It's interesting to see it here in a kid's show because it's like, I feel like this isn't like, I don't know who in the writer's room was like, what if we had a John Henry moment? Because man, what a great moment to just sort of throw in there.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Hirsch, noted Disney nerd. So like maybe
right? There. Interesting.
I don't know. I'm into it. I'm here for it. Yes, justice for Big Henry.
Justice for Big Henry. Okay, wait. Does that take us to one more things? Or two more one more things?
I think it takes us to one more things.
Because I literally only have one more thing. So.
Oh, nice. Who wants to go first? Mine are meaningless, so I don't mind going first because they're not like meaty. They're just
mine isn't either. So.
Two things I didn't get to say. Okay, one is that the name of the Mexican restaurant they go to is Hermanos Brothers, and I kind of love that.
That's really fun. I never clocked that. That's really funny.
I missed it. I
saw it on the side. It's like Hermanos Brothers, and I was like, that's fantastic.
I also like how that might possibly be like a nod to Los Pollos Hermanos on Breaking Bad, which is also very funny.
It also made me think very much of like every single Hermano like Arrested Development joke ever.
I do have one more thing, and it's that we didn't talk about the theme for the putt-putt golf place with the mutton and the
oh, wait, my chant. Victory, honor, destiny, mutton. Victory, honor, destiny, mutton. Like, I just like, first of all, Jill, I believe that the first time we met, was it the first time we met at mini golf, or was that like?
Yeah, it was at Joy's bachelorette party. Joy Nell's bachelorette
remember.
party.
I wasn't sure if we had maybe met previously, and it was just like ages ago at karaoke. But the last, like, I remember us meeting at mini golf.
Yes.
And now I need us to go mini golfing again. And I need us, like, when we go mini golfing, to be chanting victory, honor, destiny, mutton.
We will do that. We will also do a shot in honor of Big Henry.
And yes. Like,
always do a shot
must happen
in honor of Big Henry.
His sacrifice will not go uncommemorated.
Correct. Yeah, no, that's my one more thing, because I was like, oh wait, we didn't talk about that at all. There it is.
The king of mini golf in his little golf cart.
His golf
covered
cart.
in acne.
The king of golf is, if the king of mini golf has spoken. Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure that's Justin Roiland, and he was clearly having a lot of fun with that.
As he should.
Wait, who voices Franz?
Franz?
Yeah.
That's Patton Oswalt, I think.
Oh, okay. I heard the voice and I was like, I know that voice. And then I didn't have time to look it up.
Yeah,
okay,
Patton Oswalt is Franz.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Fillion is Preston Northwest.
Mm-hmm. I definitely recognized Patton Oswalt's voice and I couldn't place it. Okay.
My one more thing is the quote, "Oh yeah, what's 10 minus 6? 4."
Oh, what a good callback.
Just
with all the trouble of doing math on the fly.
I was going to say Mabel can do just a little bit of math, and 10 minus 6 is one of them.
We did get another blip of now that you've been watching for after credit sequences, Danielle, did you see some of the like weird blip things that have been happening when the credits end?
I can see them, but it's really hard for me to identify what's in them.
That's fair. It's totally fair.
I would have to pause the screen to be like, what symbol are they showing me? You know?
I mean, it's also not going to tell you very much. It's still very much okay, more mystery to be had, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you're deep in the lore, it's just like, oh, that was cool, which is how I take it.
Okay, wait.
It's
Jill,
like
did you find turn over
thing? You turn over every barrel, Danielle. I just wanted to point it out.
During the end credits of the episode, there's a cryptogram that reads, and then there's a text that, according to the Veneer cipher, it reads, "Remember Big Henry."
Aww.
Wait, really? Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad Big Henry got like one little, a little recognition there at the end.
I like it too.
Yeah. Also, I just love that Robbie was spray painting the word wieners. Like, that's just funny.
And then making rude signs at the king of mini golf.
That's a rude hand gesture.
Robbie.
Solid Robbie work right there.
Oh, Robbie.
So where can folks find you, Jill?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to make me spell the hard word again. Why did I pick this name? Gosh darn it. You can find me. I am Mix Labradorite, MXLABRADORITE. And that's on Blue Sky. That's on a whole bunch of places. TikTok. You just Google it. You'll find me. I've got a card. I've got merch. I've got a YouTube channel.
Yeah. And the info will also be down in the episode description, so check out their stuff.
Yeah. All right. And if you're looking for Binge O'Clock, you can check us out at Binge O'Clock Pod on Twitter and Facebook, where you can answer the question, what's your favorite or least favorite mini golf hole? You can also email us at bingeoclockpod@gmail.com. And don't forget, we have a Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/BachPod.
That's right. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell the live lobsters in your life about Binge O'Clock, and we will see you next time.